Welcome back. The truck driver behind the gas tanker explosion that killed 27 people has been released. The NPA dropped the case against the 32-year-old, citing a lack of evidence. Meanwhile, devastated families are now preparing to bury their loved ones. One mother is mourning the loss of 4 of her children. Our reporter Heidi Giokos joins us now with the latest. Heidi, we know the latest victim to have succumbed to their injuries today was a health worker from the Tambo Memorial Hospital. So far, 13 healthcare workers from that hospital were injured, 10 passed on, 3 are in a critical condition. 27 people lost their lives, and so many more people were either injured or their lives were impacted in some devastating way. We've recently seen the company behind this transport company releasing a lengthy statement about exactly what happened, an account of what the driver did. Can you take us through that?
Yes, so quite a lengthy statement that has been released, Annalene. I think it's important and critical for South Africans to understand the version and accounts from the truck driver, because many people have questions about why he went under the bridge. Did he not see the signage? And maybe we can just take you through some of those points from the truck driver that speaks to the fact that he, on the 24th of December, the driver was en route to Richards Bay from Richards Bay to Botswana. He stayed at an overnight truck shop for about 10 hours. And this is where it all went wrong. He took the wrong exit to the N17 highway, and when he was rerouted, it unfortunately took him to that bridge. What's important here is that there were no signs that showed the height of that particular bridge. So this is when the truck driver decided to exit the truck, and he assessed the height of the truck. He then said, okay, it looks as though the truck will be able to fit under this bridge. However, it seems as though when he was under the bridge, when he started moving under the bridge and driving under the bridge, he didn't realize that there was a dip in the road and there was a slight incline. And when there was a slight incline, this is when the top of the gas tanker scraped. And this is when he immediately stopped, and he was trying to assess what was going on and where where the truck was scraped, and he realized it was the top of the tanker, so the tanker's cap had been scraped off. He immediately called the company that he works for, ISS, to let them know about the incident, and he himself alerted all officials, all authorities. So he let the fire department know, he let the police know, and he let all authorities know that this could possibly be a very tricky situation that could possibly unfold. He cornered off the scene, he let the public know, he let motorists know that they need to move away. He stopped a security vehicle, they cornered off the area, and when he realized that the security vehicle had not displayed the tape far enough from the back of the truck, he ran and pulled it off and moved it a couple of 100 meters further to keep people away from the scene. I think what's also critical here is that you actually have videos that are circulating where you can hear the truck driver shouting at people to leave the scene and even try to physically move people and the crowds out of the area. He also explains to the company, and this was in the statement, that there were eyewitnesses also trying to assist him, and this is also where the company got some of these statements where they were able to say that this is what happened. This is critical, Annalie. Approximately 30 minutes after the truck got stuck, it ignited. There were 30 minutes that this truck driver, authorities, and everybody in the area had to evacuate everybody in the area, including the hospital. The hospital should have been informed because of the gas explosion. It, of course, went meters. And this is why we have this terrible tragedy, with the majority of those that have lost their lives being healthcare workers. And I think this is why it's so important for people to understand the version of the truck driver's events, because many are saying, well, why was he released?
So very important, as you say, that people understand all the events leading up to this explosion, that it wasn't just a case of, oh, there's a bridge, driving under it, boom, lots of people die and their lives are changed forever. And the company has very firmly thrown their support behind the driver, but that doesn't mean there couldn't still be charges against him. So give us an indication of what's likely to happen.
Yes, so the company has released in this lengthy statement giving an account of what happened and what the truck driver has explained to the company, that they fully support and find that the truck driver was professional, he was not negligent, and he did everything in his power to try and get everybody away from the area. They've also alluded to the fact that he is an experienced truck driver. Yes, he's 32 years old, but he has about 7 years experience in this industry. And he has a valid driver's license. He also has a permit to drive this kind of truck. It's a gas tanker. It's not just any kind of truck, which is highly explosive and obviously a very sensitive truck to be driving. The company says that he was not negligent and he has been cooperating with authorities. He was arrested on Christmas Day after this whole incident happened. However, he was released 2 days ago by police, and everybody's asking, but why was he released? The police have said that they are doing further investigations. Some of the charges that he initially faced were culpable homicide and negligent driving and malicious damage to property. But it seems as though the police don't really have evidence to charge him for culpable homicide. So they will still be investigating according to the police. And once a docket is handed over to the state, the National Prosecuting Authority, then he might face further charges and be taken to court and rearrested. But at this stage, it doesn't seem as though that's going to be the case. And the Premier of Gauteng, Panyaza Lesufi, says he will wait for authorities to further investigate, and should he not be satisfied, because at the moment you have 27 families that want answers and want to know who's going to be held responsible and accountable for this, he will institute a commission of inquiry to get to the bottom of this.
And Heidi, surely, given that there were 30 minutes between that truck getting stuck and the actual explosion itself, that there are more people than just the truck driver whose actions should be looked into and scrutinized very carefully. If, as you say, emergency personnel and first responders had not necessarily evacuated people far enough from the scene or from the hospital, that should also come under scrutiny.
Most certainly, and there are many suggestions out there that this is possibly why the culpable homicide charges were dropped for the truck driver, because firstly, if the company has indicated and the truck driver has indicated that there was no proper signage on the bridge, that already is a massive problem. If the truck driver stepped out of the truck to assess whether or not the truck was going to fit under the bridge, and then this happened, he called authorities, he informed the police, he informed the firefighters and everybody else. He also tried to evacuate everybody in the area. There was enough time to basically save lives, and this did not happen. So lots of questions out there. People need to answer as to why was there no signage, why were people not evacuated, and why did people not act fast enough? Who dropped the ball?
And of course, at this time, everyone's thoughts go out to those families who are preparing to bury loved ones that should not have lost their lives at a time, especially of year, when people spend time together, and it's a time to celebrate and be joyful.
Yes, certainly. And I think what's even more tragic, yesterday was a very difficult day because we got a chance to sit with some of the families who have lost their loved ones, and there was one particular family, Anli, that really stood out. It's a brother and a sister that are both nurses at the Tambo Memorial Hospital. The brother was doing night shift and the sister was doing day shift, and he was leaving the hospital and his sister had just arrived and she was getting out of her vehicle, and this is when the explosion happened. And it's not easy for families to really understand what's going on, but this particular family, and most families that have lost their loved ones in this tragedy, have said there is a matter of urgency to bury their loved ones because of the state of the bodies, which it really just shows you and explains and paints a picture of the devastation and what really happened in that explosion. So it's a very difficult time, and I think what's even more concerning is that the Gauteng Premier indicating yesterday that many are still in critical condition and 2 people remain unaccounted for.